again. Today I'll be explaining the story of Sixdust a bit and answering all your extra questions that you have about him. You can also ask questions in the comment section if you still have more, of course. I'll be also revealing a bit of my plans for the future, as I didn't really want to make a whole separate video for it, and this is an informational video anyway, so it fits right in. Now, what I'll be doing is basically addressing certain parts of his evolution in more detail, as in the wiki and OST video, I only mildly hinted at what happened, and some of you might still not get it, so I'll try to explain that the best I can. Meanwhile, I'll show you my process of making Sixdust, all the files, extras, and so on, so you won't get bored, because this is gonna take a while. Also, there is a chance that perhaps I'll continue the story of Sixdust. I have a couple of really cool ideas that could extremely expand this and make this story really pop off, but I'm unsure if I'm willing to go that far with this. Perhaps I'll just share my ideas or make a couple extras. Anyway, it all of course started with Dustale, specifically my Dustale, or well, Dustale his commands. That's right, it's linked to the fan game that I'm trying to make as canonified as possible. How exactly? Well, I won't spoil the details of his commands because that would ruin the whole surprise, but all you need to know is that Sans just failed to kill the child a couple times with Flowey, and once Flowey gained enough trust in Sans, he basically just told Sans the location of the souls, letting him get the souls and get some leftover determination from Office's lab with the EXP of everyone else to act as or replace the final soul, or the determination soul. After breaking open the barrier, he of course started melting because no monster can handle determination, but they both had a small idea that Sans might be able to handle it if he was strong enough. So, they ran off to a small city in the distance and Sans started killing everyone in his path to make himself stronger. After gaining enough strength, it actually seemed to work, which was great. But what wasn't great was that Sans was pretty much mentally unhinged by this point, blaming Flowey for everything, killing him in the process. Sans then had a bunch of ideas on how to stop the child, but they were starting to kind of get muffled in all of the EXP and power he was holding within himself. He could hear whispers in his head and it was starting to get to him. Sans ultimately decided that it was the best to seal the child in a barrier till he was ready, because he did not want to risk any of his progress just because he was by chance still somehow underleveled. And so, after sealing the child in another mountain left to rot, he learned to open a portal to other universes. After getting into the multiverse, he started exploring other AUs, and saw that they also seemed to have killers in them, which was a huge shock to him. All of that effort, and all he sees is more versions of him dying? What the hell is this multiverse? Is there not even one where everything is peaceful? It all seemed so weird to him, but he knew what he must have done by then. He needed to just erase everything. He needed to reset it back to 0. Just like the child does it, just on a larger scale. A lot larger scale. Multiversal even. He needed more, he said. He wanted more, he said. And soon enough, he killed most of the multiverse, even killing the guardians of it, like Ink or Error. All that was left was a couple of oddballs and 404. He was certain that 404 had the power to do anything with the multiverse, so he knew getting stronger than him and killing him would be the best choice. That one fateful day would of course arrive soon, although he couldn't help but notice that 404 just stood and watched from afar, which was very, very weird to him. Nonetheless, he finally ended his multiversal massacre after killing the last thing he wanted, the child. All the voices told him he was ready. All his souls told him he was ready. He knew he was ready. Creating a portal straight to 404, with 404 begging for Sixdust to just talk this out with him. He knew what he wanted, but he couldn't let him do it. He didn't want the loop to begin again. A loop? What is he talking about? This is the multiverse? There's literally no loop to be made here. He stepped closer and closer and closer. He could just feel the victory throughout every particle of his body. And then he charged his beam and annihilated 404 in a single hit. I'll mention that 404 couldn't do anything, by the way, with his butterfly form because it relies on the multiverse, which was pretty much gone by this point due to Sixdust annihilating it. I previously didn't review much about it in the OST, but that's because it was something that could be pretty much anything, so I just had to think of something good that would fit in. Perhaps you think this outcome is still bland, and I am sorry if it comes off as it is, but I really tried to brainstorm here. So, he had done it. He killed 404 and gained the ability to reset the multiverse. But what the hell was happening to him? What was happening to the world around him? His body glitched, corrupted, blood coming out of his eyes, but the main part of his transformation was the fact that he was turning blue. He couldn't believe his eyes. He became the very thing he swore to destroy for the benefit of others. He stood in shock for a good moment, but then realized what 404 was trying to say. The loop was the AUs constantly killing each other until there was nothing left of them, and 404 was left to be erased by one of those who vowed for revenge for everything 404 has seemingly done. But it never was the fault of 404, is what he realized after turning around, seeing a happy multiverse. A huge world, seeming like a mirror, that was fully happy instead. A second, different 404 with a smile came up to that glass and welcomed Sixdust to his new world, where he would spend the rest of his life knowing he would be replaced one day no matter what, due to his multiverse being specifically designed for genocides. He knew why 404 didn't do anything. It was all inevitable. And that most likely 404 was the same Sixdust that Sixdust was once before, now being in the role of 404 instead. He could only ponder, what did the first 404 feel? Oh well, I guess he won't ever find out. All he has left to do is continue the cycle. A couple seconds later, in front of his throne, ink, error, and the first original timeline, Undertale, appeared, waiting to be manipulated with by the new 404. It was time to endure the pain all over again. Well, hopefully that answers almost everything, because I don't know what much else I could say. In conclusion, I made him overpowered because I felt like it could benefit the story of not just him, but the story of how the entire multiverse works, which I think is a lot more interesting. It gives a sort of conclusion and makes it seem like a series, for example Underverse, which I really like. It's basically more than just another character. It's a whole story and an explanation for something seemingly unexplainable. Even if you think overpowered characters are bad, I tried to give this one as much personality as I could. I tried to be creative as possible in a sensical manner, and I think I did a at least decent job, although it's on you to rate how well I did. I am open for suggestions and ideas, so if any of you wish to add something onto the character, just DM me and I'll let you know if I'll consider it official or not. After all, communication with your community is important. Now, just for some extra info, I'm bringing back development for a Roblox game that I've left in the dust before. We're adding a bunch more content and making it way more fun. I didn't bother even telling you guys about the demo since I don't think it's the best, but it serves as a slight piece of the pie I want to serve you, so I recommend you to check it out if you're interested in that. Development for DTHC was a little slow because of me getting distracted working on random stuff, which I probably shouldn't. It hurts me, I despise doing it, but what can you do when your brain bugs you about it 24/7 and you feel like you're in a constant state of stress? That was a little bit of a rant. Oh yeah, there's one more thing. I forgot about the questions. God damn. Is 6XDUST Sans aware of the other Dust Tale / DustDust timelines? And did he kill alternate Dust Senses to get stronger? Well, he did. As a matter of fact, he might have even come across different 4Dusts, and so on. The main point is that in this version of the multiverse, it doesn't really matter who kills who, it all mixes together to create one single 6Dust. There is no fell 6Dust, no 7Dust. The end road is at 6Dust, and no one can get more powerful than that since the 6Dust form is as powerful as 404 himself, butterfly phase included. And pretty much all that's left for the 6Dust to do is to do that reset to become 404. And the second question, why is 6Dust so hot and is he breedable? Well, obviously it's because he can shapeshift into a giant hammer and absolutely smash it to pieces. Anyway, that's all. I wish you all a great rest of the day and I'll see you later.